In my first life, I was the good daughter, the one who worked hard, followed the rules, and never caused trouble. My brother David was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, even when he did. I was the one who ended up pinned between a city bus and a delivery truck, my legs crushed, my future shattered. After a year of surgeries and excruciating rehab, I received a disability settlement, a sum of money that was meant to be my fresh start, my security, my one chance at a life with dignity. I died the day I trusted my mother, Patricia, with that chance. I died staring at a zero balance in my bank account, the ghost of her perfume still hanging in the air. I stare at my empty bank account on my phone screen, the zeros burning my retinas like acid. $47,000. Gone. The number, or lack thereof, is so absolute, so final, it feels like a physical blow. The air evacuates my lungs in a ragged gasp. My apartment, usually a sanctuary, suddenly feels like a cage. The smell of Mom's vanilla candle, the one she lit when she stopped by for a quick visit yesterday, still lingers. It was meant to be a comforting scent, a little housewarming gesture for the new place I was supposed to secure. Now it's sickeningly sweet, the scent of betrayal. My hands shake. It's not the nerve damage from the accident this time. It's pure, undiluted rage colliding with a tidal wave of disbelief. The two forces meet in my chest like a head-on collision, and for a second, I can't breathe, can't think. That money was everything. It was the deposit on a new, fully wheelchair-accessible apartment, a place where I wouldn't have to struggle to get through the bathroom door, a place with ramps instead of mocking, useless stairs. It was physical therapy sessions not covered by insurance. It was a modified car so I could finally reclaim a piece of my independence. It was my future, and it has vanished overnight. My mind races, trying to find a logical explanation. A bank error? A sophisticated hack? But I know, deep in the pit of my stomach, where the truth sits cold and heavy, that it was neither. My mother was the only other person with access to that account. I'd added her during my recovery when I was too sedated on painkillers to manage my own finances. "Just until you're back on your feet, sweetie," she had said, her hand stroking my hair. "I'll help you take care of everything." I, stupidly, gratefully, had believed her. She was my mother, my rock during the darkest year of my life. She held the vomit bucket. She changed my bandages. She cried with me when the doctors gave us bad news. My gaze falls on the letter sitting on my small kitchen counter, the stark red letters of the eviction notice practically glowing. My current landlord had been patient, but his patience had a deadline. The notice is due in 18 hours. The deposit for the new place was supposed to come from that settlement. Without it, I have nowhere to go. The reality of it crashes down on me, sharp and brutal, homeless. She was going to let me become homeless. With trembling fingers, I take a screenshot of the bank statement, the image a permanent record of the void. Then, I dial Mom's number. My thumb hovers over the green call icon. My heart hammers against my ribs, a frantic, trapped bird. I know this call will change everything. It's the point of no return. The end of my first life and the terrifying, uncertain beginning of the next. I press the button. The phone begins to ring, each chime an echo of the life she just stole from me. The ringing stops. "Maya, honey, I was just thinking about you," Patricia's voice chirps, as cheerful and oblivious as a cartoon bluebird. The sound of it, so normal and loving, makes my stomach turn. I don't waste time on pleasantries. "The money's gone," I say, my voice flat, devoid of the storm raging inside me. "The settlement, it's all gone." There's a beat of silence. Not a shocked silence, but a calculated one. I can almost hear the gears turning in her head. "Oh, honey, don't you worry about that. It's not gone, it's just borrowed. It's a loan." A loan. The word is so absurd, so insulting, it almost makes me laugh. "A loan requires asking for permission first, Patricia," I snap, using her first name like a weapon. It's the first time in my life I've ever called her anything but Mom. The impact is immediate. The warmth in her voice vanishes, replaced by a defensive chill. "Don't you take that tone with me, young lady. After everything I've done for you, This is for the family. Your brother David, he's been working so hard, he deserves a break. We all do. We're going to Cancun for a little while just to recharge. We'll pay it all back as soon as we can. Cancun. The name of the place hangs in the air between us, a symbol of everything she values more than her disabled daughter's survival. While I'm facing eviction, they're planning a beach vacation. The sheer, breathtaking selfishness of it solidifies something inside me. The trembling stops. The hurt recedes, replaced by a cold, hard clarity. I'm hanging up now, Patricia, I say. Maya, don't you dare. I end the call. My finger immediately moves to my banking app's contact number. The hold music is infuriating, a tinny, repetitive tune that grates on my raw nerves. Finally, a human voice. First Republic Bank, this is Jonathan speaking. I explain the situation, my voice steady and precise. I'm a victim of unauthorized withdrawal. I need to freeze all my accounts, effective immediately. Jonathan is professional and efficient. He asks for my security information, and I rattle it off. Okay, Miss Al-Sayed, I see the account here. It looks like the full amount of $47,000 was withdrawn via a cashier's check yesterday. Can you tell me what time? I ask, my knuckles white as I grip the phone. One moment. Here it is. The check was issued at 3:47 p.m. Exactly 2 hours after I left for my physical therapy appointment. She had timed it perfectly. She knew my schedule. She knew I wouldn't be home. The thought is chilling. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a plan. I also need to revoke a power of attorney, I continue, the words tasting like ash, for Patricia Al-Sayed. Of course, we can process that for you. I just need you to come into a branch with 2 forms of ID to sign the paperwork. I'll be there this afternoon. After I finish with the bank, I pull up my email and find the document from my lawyer, the one I signed when I was still in the hospital. Power of attorney. I had given her complete control, a blank check to my life because I thought she was the one person in the world I could trust without question. The memory mocks me now, a monument to my own naivety. I forward the legal document to myself and then type out a formal letter of revocation. I know it's not legally binding until I sign the papers at the bank, but I need to do something, to take another step, to keep moving forward. Each action is a brick in the new wall I'm building between me and them. My mind feels strangely calm, as if the emotional overload has short-circuited my system, leaving only a single burning objective. Protect what's left. Fight back. My finger hovers over the contact info for my uncle's law firm. He's a litigator, a shark. He's my mother's brother, but he's never been blind to her flaws. It feels like a nuclear option, a declaration of all-out war. It's too soon for that. I need to think. I need a friendly face. I dial Elena. She picks up on the second ring. Hey you, how is PT? She asks, her voice a welcome warmth in the frozen landscape of my life. I open my mouth to answer, but instead of words, a sob escapes, ragged and ugly. The dam breaks. The cold clarity shatters, and the grief and rage I've been holding back come pouring out. Maya, what is it? What's wrong? Elena's voice is sharp with alarm. She took it all, Elle, I whisper, the words barely audible through my tears. My mom, she took all the money, and they're going to Cancun. I'm on my way. She doesn't ask for details. She doesn't need them yet. She just knows her friend is in trouble. And in that moment, her simple, unwavering loyalty is the only thing keeping me from completely falling apart. I hang up, my gaze falling once more on the eviction notice. 18 hours. The clock is ticking. An hour later, I'm sitting at Elena's worn wooden kitchen table. The air smells of brewing coffee and cinnamon, a comforting domestic cloud that feels a world away from the sterile chill of my apartment. Elena places a steaming mug in my hands, her touch gentle. Her face is a canvas of concern and simmering anger on my behalf. Okay, she says, sitting opposite me. Start from the beginning. Tell me everything. I recount the entire morning, my voice raw but steady now. The zero balance, the sickening vanilla candle, the phone call with Patricia. Her casual admission of theft masquerading as a loan. I tell her about the cashier's check, the timing, the revocation of the power of attorney. Elena listens without interrupting, her dark eyes fixed on mine. her expression hardening with every word I speak. When I'm finished, she just shakes her head slowly. I never liked her, Maya. You know that. I always felt like her love for you was conditional, transactional. But this is a whole new level of monster. She said it was for David, too, I say, the old familiar sting of resentment flaring up. He deserves a break. David is 32 years old with a wife and a steady job. If he needs a vacation, he can pay for it himself, Elena scoffs. This is about her. It's always been about her. And your brother just goes along with it because he always gets what he wants without any of the consequences. She's right. David has floated through life on a cloud of my mother's indulgence. While I was fighting for every scrap of praise, every acknowledgement, he was handed everything on a silver platter. The accident only amplified it. My struggle became an inconvenience, a drain on the family's emotional resources. His minor successes were celebrated as monumental achievements. I just can't believe they'd be so blatant about it, I whisper, staring into my coffee. To just take it and go. Elena's expression shifts. A strange, hesitant look crosses her face. Maya, you might not want to look at this, but I think you need to. She slides her laptop across the table. It's open to Facebook. My mother's profile picture, a heavily filtered selfie, smiles out at me. And right there at the top of her feed is a new post. It was made 3 hours ago. The photo is of my entire family. Patricia, my father, my brother David, and his wife Sarah, grinning maniacally at the camera. They're in an airport lounge, holding up passports and glasses of champagne. Behind them, a sign for an airline gate is clearly visible. The destination board reads, Cancun. The caption, written by my mother, is nauseating. Off on a much-needed family adventure. Time to soak up some sun and make some memories. Feeling blessed. The word blessed feels like a punch to the gut. My breath catches, but it gets worse. Elena clicks on David's profile. He's been tagged in the photo, and he's made his own post. A different picture, this one of them, all standing by a pile of brand new designer luggage. A sleek set of suitcases that I know for a fact they couldn't have afforded yesterday. Look what your family is doing while you're here crying, Elena says softly, her voice laced with fury. My eyes scan David's caption, and then I see it. The final, unforgivable nail in the coffin of the family I thought I had. Read it aloud, Elena prods gently. You need to hear it. I take a shaky breath. Thanks to my amazing sister Maya for making this dream vacation possible. Her generosity knows no bounds. We're raising a glass to you. #family. First, #blessed by the best sister. He tagged me. He tagged me in a post celebrating the theft of my future. The ice that formed in my chest during the phone call spreads through my veins, freezing every last drop of warmth, every lingering speck of love or familial duty. They're not just stealing from me, they're celebrating it. They're mocking me. They're turning my tragedy into their triumph and putting it on display for the world to see. Elena points to the timestamp on the photo. It was posted just 6 hours after the cashier's check was withdrawn. 6 hours after my mother walked out of my apartment, leaving her cloying vanilla candle and a promise to check in on me later. She was at the airport, posing for pictures with my money. This wasn't just a theft, it was a conspiracy. They all knew. My father with his weak-willed silence, David with his smug, entitled grin, his wife, Sarah, smiling along without a care in the world. They had planned this together. They had sat around discussing how they would take my settlement, my one hope for a normal life, and spend it on themselves. The realization is a physical weight, pressing down on me, threatening to crush me. But then, something else rises up to meet it. Not grief, not sadness. Something harder, something colder. It's the steely, unyielding certainty of a survivor. They think they've won. They think I'm just a broken, helpless girl in a wheelchair who they can rob and discard. They're about to find out how wrong they are. Elena, I say, my voice devoid of any tremor. That uncle I told you about, the lawyer, I need his number. Now. The next afternoon, I'm in a high-rise office that smells of expensive leather and ambition. Elena's friend, a young, sharp-eyed lawyer named Chloe, sits across from me at a polished mahogany desk. The city skyline glitters behind her, a world of possibilities that, for the first time since yesterday, doesn't feel entirely out of reach. I've spent the morning securing a temporary extension on my eviction, buying myself a precious few days with a carefully worded email about a family emergency and temporary banking issue. It was a small victory, but it was enough to fuel the fire that had been ignited by David's Facebook post. Chloe has been reviewing the documents I emailed her, the bank statements, the screenshot of the zero balance, the power of attorney agreement, and the social media posts. Her expression is grim. "This is bad, Maya," she says, her tone professional but edged with empathy. "What your mother did with the power of attorney is a clear breach of fiduciary duty. We can sue her for the full amount, plus damages. That's the civil route." "Okay," I nod, ready to hear the rest. But Chloe leans forward, her eyes intense. "You mentioned you have to go to the bank to formally revoke the POA. Did you do that yet?" "I'm going after this meeting," I reply. "Good. I want you to ask them for a copy of the documentation used to facilitate that withdrawal. Specifically, the cashier's check request form. Find out exactly what she presented to the teller." She pauses, choosing her words carefully. A withdrawal of that size, especially from a settlement account, often requires more than just a POA. They might have required additional justification. A cold premonition snakes its way down my spine. What kind of justification? Sometimes, if the account holder is incapacitated, they'll ask for medical verification. The word hangs in the air. Incapacitated. 2 hours later, I'm back in Chloe's office. Eliana is with me this time, her hand resting supportively on my shoulder. In my lap is a file from the bank. The branch manager, a kind woman who looked horrified when I explained the situation, had been more than helpful. I slide a document across the desk to Chloe. It's a copy of a letter, supposedly from my neurologist, Dr. Evans. It's printed on his official letterhead. The letter states, in cold clinical terms, that due to complications from my accident, I, Maya Al-Sayed, have been deemed mentally incompetent to manage my own financial affairs. It recommends that my designated power of attorney, Patricia Al-Sayed, be granted unrestricted access to all my accounts to manage them on my behalf. The signature at the bottom is a near-perfect forgery of Dr. Evans's scrawl. Chloe reads it, her jaw tightening. "She forged it," I say, my voice a hollow whisper. "She told the bank I was mentally incompetent." The betrayal is so profound, so monstrous, it's almost impossible to comprehend. It's one thing to steal money. It's another thing entirely to steal someone's mind, their very identity. She didn't just take my money, she erased me. She painted me as a mindless invalid, incapable of thought, so she could justify her greed. Suddenly, a dozen small, strange moments from the past few months click into place. Patricia insisting on attending my doctor's appointments. "Just to help you remember everything, honey." Her offering to handle all my mail and bills. Her accidentally misplacing the new checkbook the bank had sent me. She wasn't helping. She was gathering intelligence. She was laying the groundwork for her crime. "This changes everything, Maya," Chloe says, her voice hard as steel. "This is no longer just a family dispute over money. This is a federal crime." She starts listing the charges, and each one lands like a hammer blow. Bank fraud, forgery, identity theft. And given your physical condition, this also falls under statutes related to elder and dependent adult abuse. The penalties for these are severe. We're not talking about paying the money back. We're talking about serious prison time. Prison. The word echoes in the silent room. Sending my own mother to prison. A week ago, the thought would have been unthinkable, a violation of some sacred, unspoken law of family. Now, it feels like the only possible outcome. Justice. "In 24 hours, Chloe continues, her voice pulling me back from the brink. "I can have signed affidavits from you and from your neurologist, Dr. Evans, who I'll contact immediately, attesting to the fraud. We will have irrefutable proof that your mother committed these crimes." She looks me straight in the eye, her expression unwavering. "You have a choice. We can proceed with a civil lawsuit, which you will win, but it will be long and messy. Or we can take this evidence to the police and the district attorney's office. You can press criminal charges. I look at Elena. Her face is pale, but her eyes are resolute. She gives my shoulder a squeeze. She knows this is my decision, but she's ready to stand by me no matter what I choose. I think of the vanilla candle. I think of the smug, grinning faces in the Cancun photos. I think of the words mentally incompetent on that forged letter. I am not a victim anymore. I am not the broken girl in the wheelchair. That settlement was awarded to me for the pain I endured, for the life that was taken from me in that crash. It represents my suffering. And my mother didn't just steal the money, she stole my story, my pain, and tried to use it for her own gain. My disability, the very thing she used to declare me incompetent, is now my greatest weapon. The law has specific, enhanced protections for people like me. Her attempt to erase me has given me the power to bury her. Chloe, I say, my voice ringing with a clarity I haven't felt in years, get the affidavits. We're going to the police. I am no longer the good daughter. I am the hunter, and my prey is on a plane, sipping champagne, completely oblivious to the storm that is about to break over their heads. The police station is a world of beige walls and the faint, antiseptic smell of cleaner. It's a place of hard truths and stark consequences. I roll myself up to the front desk, the file from Chloe clutched in my lap like a shield. My heart is beating a steady, determined rhythm. There's no fear, no hesitation, just a cold, clear purpose. After a brief explanation to the desk sergeant, I'm escorted to a small, windowless interview room. A few minutes later, a detective walks in. He's older, with tired eyes that have clearly seen the worst of humanity. He introduces himself as Officer Martinez. Miss Al-Sayed, he says, sitting down across from me. The sergeant said you have a fraud complaint? I do, I reply, and I push the file across the table. My mother stole my disability settlement to fund a family vacation while I face eviction. I state it plainly for the record. I watch his face as he opens the file and begins to read. I see his expression shift from weary professionalism to focused intensity. He reads the forged doctor's note, his lips thinning into a grim line. He looks at the bank statements, the cashier's check receipt, and then at the glossy printouts of the Facebook posts. He lingers on the photo of my brother, my father, my mother, all smiling, tanned, and carefree on a beach in Cancun. Ma'am, this is serious federal fraud, Officer Martinez says, his pen already moving rapidly across his notepad. He doesn't look up. The use of forged medical documents to access funds from a disabled person, the DA will take this very seriously. I spend the next hour giving a formal statement. I recount every detail, from the moment I gave my mother power of attorney to the moment I discovered the social media posts. I provide a timeline, names, dates. I am precise, factual, and unemotional. The rage is still there, a cold, hard ball in my stomach, but I channel it into clarity. My testimony is my weapon, and I will not allow grief to blunt its edge. As I'm signing the final page of my statement, my phone buzzes. It's a number from Mexico, my brother, David. I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, it buzzes again. And again. On the fourth try, I answer and put it on speaker for Officer Martinez to hear. Maya, what the hell is going on? David's voice is high-pitched, laced with panic. The laid-back vacationer is gone, replaced by a cornered animal. Mom just got a call from Uncle Tariq. He said you're talking to lawyers, trying to get her arrested. This is insane. You need to stop this right now. Why would I do that, David? I ask, my voice calm. Because this is family business. You don't go running to the cops over a little misunderstanding. Mom was going to pay you back. A little misunderstanding? I repeat the words, letting them hang in the air. She forged medical documents, David. She told the bank I was mentally incompetent. Was that part of the misunderstanding, too? There's a choking sound on the other end of the line. He didn't know, or maybe he just didn't care to know the details. To him, it was just free money. That can't be right, he stammers. Mom wouldn't. You're twisting things, Maya. You've always been dramatic. The accusation, so familiar, so worn out from years of him using it to dismiss my feelings, has lost all its power. It's pathetic. You're destroying this family over money, he finally yells, his panic escalating into anger. The family was destroyed the moment you all decided to steal from me, I reply evenly. You're in Cancun, David, on my money, money I need to live, to not be homeless. Did you think about that when you were packing your new luggage? You, you ungrateful, he sputters, but he has nothing. No argument, no defense, just a lifetime of entitlement crashing down around him. I have to go, David. A detective is taking my statement. I look at Officer Martinez, who gives me a slight nod. You should probably enjoy the rest of your vacation. I hear the flights back can be a real hassle when there's a warrant out for your arrest. I hang up. The silence in the room is profound. Officer Martinez looks at me with a newfound respect. He'll call her, the detective says. He'll tell her everything. They might try to stay in Mexico. They'll run out of money eventually, I say. My money. As Officer Martinez finalizes the report, I feel my phone buzz again. A text message from David. You're a monster. You're tearing Mom apart. I open my photo gallery and find the picture I took an hour ago in Chloe's office. It's a snapshot of the draft arrest warrant with Patricia Al-Sayed's name clearly typed at the top under the words, felony charges. I attach it to a new message and send it to David. My finger is steady on the send button. There is no remorse. There is only the quiet, satisfying click of another door slamming shut. The air in the international arrivals terminal is a chaotic symphony of rolling suitcases, joyful reunions, and the disembodied voice of the PA system. For me, it's the stage for the final act. I sit in my wheelchair a discreet distance from the gate, with Elena and Officer Martinez, now in plain clothes, standing beside me. Two uniformed officers are positioned strategically near the baggage claim carousels. We've been tracking their flight. They landed 20 minutes ago. Any moment now, they will walk through those sliding glass doors, tanned and rested, straight into the jaws of the trap. My heart isn't pounding. It's unnervingly still. This isn't about emotion anymore. It's about consequences. Then, I see them. Patricia is laughing at something David is saying, her hand on my father's arm. They look relaxed, wearing resort clothes that seem garishly out of place in the sterile airport terminal. They're laden with duty-free bags, souvenirs from a life they stole. They haven't seen me yet. They're just another family coming home from vacation. As they approach the baggage claim, Officer Martinez gives a subtle nod. The two uniformed officers move in. Patricia Al-Sayed, one of the officers says, his voice polite but firm. My mother stops, a look of confusion on her face. Yes, can I help you? Ma'am, you're under arrest for bank fraud, forgery, and identity theft. The words detonate in the noisy terminal. My mother's face, tan from the Mexican sun, pales to a pasty white. The smile dissolves. Her eyes dart around wildly, and then they find me. They lock onto my face from across the terminal. The confusion in her expression curdles into pure, venomous hatred. You! She shrieks, the sound cutting through the airport chatter. Heads turn, phones come out. You did this! The officers are placing handcuffs around her wrists. The metallic click is surprisingly loud. David and my father stand frozen, their faces masks of disbelief. You're destroying this family over money! Mom screams across the baggage claim area, her voice raw with fury. She struggles against the officers, her vacation persona stripped away to reveal the snarling, cornered animal beneath. I roll forward slowly, closing the distance between us. The crowd parts from my wheelchair. I stop a few feet from her, meeting her blazing eyes with a calm I didn't know I possessed. You're wrong, I say, my voice clear and carrying. This was never about the money. It was about what you did to get it. You destroyed yourself when you forged my medical records and stole from your disabled daughter. I raised you. I changed your diapers. You owe me everything, she shrieks, her voice cracking. Cameras are flashing now, the public humiliation a fitting end to her private betrayal. People are recording, capturing her downfall for the world to see. The only thing I owed you was a chance to do the right thing, I reply, my voice unwavering. I hold up a folded piece of paper, a copy of the cashier's check request form. You chose theft instead. Her face crumbles. The fight goes out of her, replaced by a wave of pathetic, self-pitying tears. David finally snaps out of his stupor and takes a step toward me. Maya, how could you? He whispers, his voice thick with a sense of aggrieved entitlement. Stay away from her, Elena says, stepping between us, a fierce protector. As they lead my mother away, still sobbing and screaming about family and gratitude, I feel nothing. No triumph, no sadness. Just a quiet, profound emptiness. The end of an era. The court case that follows is swift and brutal. Chloe is a master, presenting the evidence with devastating precision. The forged letter, the bank records, the Facebook posts, the text messages. My uncle Tariq, horrified by his sister's actions, provides a statement against her. My father and David, under threat of being charged as accessories, turn on her, painting themselves as ignorant pawns in her scheme. It's a pathetic, cowardly display. The judge, a stern woman with no tolerance for exploitation, is scathing in her final remarks. She looks directly at Patricia. You preyed on your own daughter's vulnerability, she says, her voice ringing with contempt. You took her tragedy and twisted it for your own selfish gain. This court finds your actions to be not only criminal, but morally bankrupt. The verdict is a complete victory. I am awarded the full $47,000 back. And then the judge awards me triple damages for the fraud and emotional distress, plus attorney's fees. And in a final stunning move, she places a lien on my mother's house as collateral to ensure payment. The final sum comes to just over $150,000. I look at my father and brother. Their faces are ashen. They have lost everything. Their matriarch, their money, their home. They stare at me as if I'm a stranger, a monster who brought this ruin upon them. They still don't get it. They never will. They didn't see that they were the architects of their own destruction. I just handed them the bill. My mother gets 18 months in a low-security federal prison. The video of her screaming arrest at the airport goes viral. A brief, sensational clip on nightly news segments about families torn apart. David's company, a conservative financial firm, fires him for conduct unbecoming of an employee 2 days after the video airs. My father is forced to sell their house to pay the judgment. He moves into a small, sad apartment on the other side of town. They are broken, shattered by the consequences of their own greed. I do not reach out. I do not answer their calls. I cut them off, a clean and necessary amputation to save my own life. 6 months later, the world is a different color. The beige walls of the police station have been replaced by the warm, sunlit yellow of my own living room. I'm in my new home, a beautiful single-story house I bought with the settlement money. The original sum and the damages awarded by the court. Every doorway is wide, every counter is at the right height. There's a ramp leading to a small, perfect garden in the back. It's a house built not for a disabled person, but for me. It's a home built for my future. I'm in the garden now, the afternoon sun warm on my face. The air smells of rich soil and blooming lavender. Elena is here, her hands covered in dirt, helping me plant flowers in a raised garden bed. We work in a comfortable silence, the quiet sounds of our trowels and the buzz of bees, a peaceful soundtrack to my new life. It's a life I fought for, a life I built from the ashes of the one my family tried to burn down. My phone rings, vibrating on the small table next to my chair. The caller ID flashes. Federal Correctional Institution. Collect call. It's the 47th time Patricia has tried to call me. I press the ignore button, the action as automatic as breathing. A few moments later, the voicemail notification appears. I know what it will say without listening. It will be a variation of the same theme. She's sorry, but really, I'm the one who should be sorry. Family should forgive family. I'm breaking her heart. For a moment, I'm tempted to listen, to let that poison seep into my peaceful afternoon. But then I look at Elena, who catches my eye and smiles. I look at the lavender bushes, their purple tips swaying in the gentle breeze. I look at the smooth, accessible ramp that leads to my back door, a symbol of my freedom. This is my life now. It is quiet, and it is good. My finger hovers over the voicemail. I think about the person I was, the girl who would have forgiven, who would have felt guilty, who would have shouldered the blame because that's what a family did. But that girl died in the airport terminal, watching her mother get handcuffed. The woman who survived doesn't have room for that kind of poison. With a steady hand, I press delete. The notification vanishes. The past is gone. I never looked back because for the first time in a very long time, forward was so much brighter.